Diamond VIP. Hey guys, hopefully you guys are having a brilliant, wonderful weekend with your families. I actually love coming into Glendale, California because it teaches me something about myself. And I love to say this because I think sometimes people assume that what my experiences are different from your experiences, or somehow um, I've not experienced depression. I've not experienced doubt. Not only have I experienced depression and doubt and hopelessness, I've experienced it on a large scale, very large scale. And if you're a depressed person or a doubter, I'm here as a witness to you. This room, Diamond VIP, is nothing more than an altar to me. And so the realness of what I say is poignant sometimes because it's really just my truth. Before you come down to an altar to ask for prayer, if you have a seasoned prayer warrior, the first thing they're going to do is ask you some very specific questions about you, what it is you want to see God do in your life. Now, I've shared with you before, I'm actually a prayer warrior. And if you have been around me and missed that, shame on you. But there's still time. I'm not your typical guy. I'm not just out here trying to make a buck. I could care less about the bucks. That's phenomenal. They're going to come. But this idea that you're going to let your doubts, fears, pain, suffering fester is something I want to stomp out of you. Every time I come to Glendale, it's a reminder that I didn't see it. I didn't believe it. Erica could see it. She was ready to go. And there's a very childlike spirit within her, just to be honest. And she'll be one of the first ones to admit it. And sometimes I'm the more centered one of the relationship, meaning I'm like, yeah, that sounds great, but we don't really have the budget. That's where the finance comes in. And I feel like many of you are that, but on the 1,000th level. You are constantly diminishing your goals because you don't realize the other side of your destiny is hidden behind that yes, not that no. And you're so consistently giving up the no's and the doubt, but you don't realize it's doubt, and you're just saying no. Opportunities come to you, you don't even show up to the meeting. How are you going to know what you're saying no to unless you open your mind, you show up, and you allow the information to pour into you? This, my friends, is the definition of a true altar. If you come to a true altar where they've been praying for hours, they've gotten through all of the phoniness, and they want to see healing in your life, which is what I want to see. I just honestly desire it. I fear sometimes more than you do. I want to see healing in your life. I want to see greater things. But here's the difference. I'm not going to beg you. I'm a prayer warrior. Then I will go yell at the mountain, scream at the mountain, speak to the mountain to an embarrassing level, that same level that you're embarrassed to break through to. I'd rather charge the atmosphere than waste my time convincing you. And when all of your barriers and all of your walls have come down and come tumbling down, now you're going to be met with no excuse. Sometimes it's okay to realize you're the toxic one in the room. And it doesn't matter what your level of toxicity is. It really doesn't. So when my wife said, hey, let's go out to Glendale, I'm going to shoot this movie, I basically said, yeah, go. You know, this was 2014. This is the end of 2014. Sure, go. You know, we weren't going to do the play anymore. So I'm like, no big deal, go. And she looked at me and she says, I really want you to act in it. I said, sure, whatever. But I'm never going to kick her dreams. You don't kick people's dreams. Stop kicking people's dreams down. Quit kicking your own dreams down. There's an area in Louisville, Kentucky called the Highlands. Highlands is a very eclectic place, a very artistic place. A lot of the chefs leave Sullivan College and they open up their restaurants down through the Highlands. So some of the best food you ever want is really found in the Highlands. And a lot of times it's found taking a walk down the street. Because the Highlands is where the dreamers go in Louisville, Kentucky. And I remember being so broke because the Highland homes are very nice. A lot of them are historic. I could even afford to walk in the park in the Highlands back then. But we would always go to the Highlands and we would find a place, and there was a place there called Ramsey's. It's a Mediterranean grill. And seasonally, they would change up their grill, and they would have the music playing. I mean, it was almost like the harps and everything. Like you go in and it's like a dream. It's a complete and total dream. They got the baby grand going. Me being a singer, anytime there's rhythm, man, I want to be around it, right? I want to catch that vibe. I want to catch that vibe. And I think that's what's wrong with a lot of people. They don't have a vibe. They don't have a rhythm. Their life is they're just going through the motions. Jodeci used to have a song they sung, "Let's go through the motions." That's what most people are doing. They're just going through the motions. They're not even feeling alive. They can't even tell you the last time they felt alive. And they're waiting until they go on a vacation or something of that nature, and then they're going to feel alive again. I was speaking to a young person last night, and they said they're so excited. And I said, "What are you excited about?" And they said, "The weekend. I'm so excited about the weekend." And then they paused and said, "Oh, every day is like a weekend to you, though." And it was kind of like this moment that it hit them, and they realized that's exactly right. The last 13, 14 years of my life have been like a weekend. And so when I come to you and I ask you, "Hey, do you want your life to be like a weekend?" If you tell me no, do you think my feelings get hurt? Really? No. But the prayer warrior side of me mourns for you. He grieves for you. He prays for you because he realizes you don't even know what the curse is. You haven't even discovered your curse is your rejection. And your rejection is not just a no. It's a rejection of self. And it's a rejection of the dreams that you've had all these years that haven't been able to manifest. And they haven't been able to manifest because the way life really works is it's moment to moment. God will send someone in your life for a moment. I have said this many times, but people don't, they hear me say it, but they don't think to ask the right question. And the right question is, why would your God send me to you? That's the right question. Not a program, not new me, not any of it. That's not even it. Why would I even waste my time telling you about it? I don't have to. I could go set up my own shop somewhere, open up a store, and sell it from there, and without you. But I come to you because he told me to come grab your hand. Now, if you let go of my hand, that ain't my fault. So I'm going to go back to why we established it, who we are, and where we're going. And why I even said until we're sipping soup through a straw. Because I'm trying to break you from the confines of time. Right now, your job puts you on a time schedule. They expect you to be there at a specific time. If your behind ain't there, you're going to get fired. That's not how this works. I'm not on your job's time schedule, nor do I care. I don't want to, I had one of them. I know what it's like. I've been on those schedules. I know what it's like to break free from it. It is the most difficult thing you will ever do is break free from the idea that you have to go to work. And the beautiful thing is when you realize you don't have to go to work, you can gain some confidence in yourself and realize you already have some of the things that could make you great. Did you not know that if you put the same time and effort and the skill and everything that you learned from your job and you put it into yourself and everything that you're doing, and you actually showed up at 8 o'clock in the morning and you took a lunch, you took a couple breaks throughout the day, but you didn't let yourself get up from your dream until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Do you realize you might suffer the first few months, about 90 days, But if you consistently can get through that, so if you had 6 months reserves, that's what most people should be working for. And I know you don't even realize this, but you should be working for 6 months worth of reserves, meaning if you broke your foot, you would be able to get through 6 months and pay your bills comfortably with your Aflac and the amount of money and savings that you've had in your investment. So the real reason why most people are telling you no is because this is a fact. Come 2053, most Black people will have a double negative as far as discretionary income and in savings. They'll have no savings. So really the rescue plan is that we're working, so that's not you. It's a crisis, folks. And so when I get here to Glendale, I remember my wife saying, I'm going out there to shoot this sitcom. I want you to come with me. And I remember having this conversation with God. Remember, this is just my altar, so I don't have to tell you this. And I said, God, I'm sitting here at this Mercedes store. I mean, I got my dreams. We can do another show. We can go get the Palace. We can get any theater in this area, the Aronoff. I don't even care about Los Angeles at this point. I could care less if people know me on TV. Who cares? It's not about that. It's the gift and calling of God is without repentance. And he told you your gift will make room for you. Quit reading it in your word and then hiding it in your home. It's ridiculous. Stop, please. And so I told God, I've had enough. I've done enough. And the Spirit asked me, boy, are you retired or are you dead? And I ask you the same thing. Are you retired? Did you just retire your dream? Or are you dead? Because the moment you stop dreaming is the moment you start dying, people. That's what happens. Now, I'm pretty satisfied at this point. And my wife says, no, we're going to go out there. And those apartments that I put up there is where we ended up living. Now, can you imagine going from a nice, beautiful home, 4,000 square feet, first 2 floors, an additional 2,000 you bumped out that you did? Come on. I got a theater room down there. I got my prayer area. I am comfortable. I don't need to hear from you or no one else. I can go down in my basement and shut the world out. And I was enjoying it. Oh man, I was enjoying it. And I'm down there and I turned on my little TBN and I'd write down all the problems of the world and I'd pray for people. And I'm going, oh man, I'm doing so much. I'm going 8, 9, 10 hours a day. Imagine my surprise when the Lord said, that still ain't enough. That still ain't enough. And I'm like, God, but I'm just one man. Who am I? And I said, even though I don't see it, and I told Erica this, even though I don't see it, I'm going to get on my knees and pray until I do. And maybe that's the problem that you're having right now. You're not committed enough to whatever it is God is telling you to get on your knees and pray until you see it. I got a shocker and a spoiler alert for somebody. In order to do that, you got to shut your mouth. Don't tell God nothing. Who are you to tell the Most High God anything? How dare you think that you have the right to tell the great I am anything? The fact that he even lets you talk to him is amazing. Because if 90% of you were God, you wouldn't let nobody speak. You would say, I've got it. Shut up. Here's what you should do. But he doesn't do that. What manner of man is this, that even the winds and the rain and everything obeys him? How amazing it is that God sent us Christ for this very reason. But most of us miss the usage of our relationship. You have not a high priest that has not been touched by the feeling of your infirmities. He was tempted at all points, yet without sin. He knows exactly what you're going through. There's not an excuse you can make that God can't identify with. Now that's one amazing God. That is an amazing God. And so I knew to shut my mouth. I might be the husband of my house, right? But I know the queen And maybe this is for some of your marriages. I know the queen, and a lot of times, has a lot of strength. And as a matter of fact, if we're just being honest, the wailing women in the Bible are the ones who prayed. Those were the greatest prayer warriors in the Bible. And I constantly would say to God, why is this my gift? Yeah, I can minister, I can preach, I can do all that, I can sing. But more than anything, prayer. But I understand it now. Because we don't understand. Joseph A. Prince explained this one time. And he said that he used to think that the time that he spent praying was, soaking up and absorbing so much of his day. It was just, and he said, then he realized as he started praying and seeking God, that God redeems the time. He redeems your time. And so the reason why the enemy makes it more difficult is the enemy understands that God redeems your time. And so what he's going to do is can keep you distracted. That's why I refuse to talk about a lot of things and problems that are going on in my life. Are they happening? Absolutely. Am I oblivious to them? No. But I feel like he gave me breath in my body, so he don't really want me spending time on that. So I looked at Erica and I said, you know what? I can't give you nothing else. So I said, the higher we go, the lower I go. Now you saw my trophy case. And that wasn't even 1/5 or 1/3 or 1/10. That was about 1/10 of the awards. So I got to lay on my face, people. And I really don't care who understands it or who gets it. But I can promise you this. When I come out of that, there's going to be miracle after miracle after miracle that manifests right in front of your face. Because I know where I'm supposed to be. Do you know where you're supposed to be? I came out here to LA and I shut my mouth and I let God speak. And he hasn't stopped speaking in the last 8 years. And yes, I said 8. And for those who are clueless as to why this would come to me now, it's because it was literally 8 years ago, April 1, that we came to Los Angeles. And now I sit in the same place where I thought, I guess I'm only going to live in this apartment. Please stop predetermining God's miracles. Please stop telling God how to produce for you. Please stop expressing to God about your bills. You think he don't see your bills? Yes, he does. You get so caught up in the transactional meaning of paying debt and doing things that this world has you confused. You created for yourself idols that you don't even realize you have. And your idols are your job, your bills. Some of you don't even believe in healing no more. You see it for someone else, but you think that healing is like a passing phase. And no, it's not a fantasy. If it is, then what happened during Azusa? Look it up. I love in the report of Azusa, the guy says, so casually, as he showed all the crutches and the wheelchairs and everything else, because they were upstairs praying 24 hours a day, how people would come up lame and halt and walk down. I think some of you don't want to walk down. That's why you don't give him time like you should. That's all I got to say. Know this. When I said sometimes the toxic one in the room is you, I was speaking of myself. And so I laid on my face and I said, Lord, get every toxic, negative, slave-induced, whatever thought, whatever curse whatever demon needs to be expunged, let me get that garbage out of the way. Because greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. You said to stir up the gift. Come on. The Bible says now unto him who was able to do exceeding and abundantly. He's going to do exceeding, but stop quoting that scripture if ain't no power working in you. You heard me. because it's according to the power that worketh in us. He's basically telling you, stir up the gift and I'll show you what I'm about.